thanks for coming over and actually moving in and doing this shit.
Oh yeah. Thanks for coming over. I was like, I live here now.
Yeah, technically you do live here because it's been a day.
Thank you for walking several feet to the table. To do
You're
this.
welcome. Thank you for coming out of your cocoon of a room or your fortress of solitude to join me here today.
Still got a lot of work left to do.
Yeah, I know you got all kinds of shit you gotta fucking move, dude. You got this fucking 70-inch fucking TV you gotta put. This thing's a mass. I went to go slide it to move it out of the way, and I'm like, dude, this is a big ass TV.
Oh, when you see it up, it's gonna.
I had a fucking 65 here, and this shit was fucking massive. It's fucking. There was a point where I was looking at it, going, "This is not gonna work. This is just not gonna work." And because it was so, like, the aspect was so big, like, you know, it's just because I wasn't that far away. I was like, dude, I had to sit at my dining room table just to watch. I couldn't watch it. Right? Yeah, it was not fun. So, anywho. Welcome, everybody, to Derek Friends Podcast. My guest, once again, Kyle Delamargio. Say hi, buddy.
Hi, everyone.
No headphones? Really?
Not yet.
Not yet? You
Yeah, a couple drinks in, and I'm like...
just going to talk and listen. I don't know. It's weird.
Fine.
It's weird. I mean, I have to have mine on just because I have to monitor shit, but otherwise, like,
how you're going to sound.
It's nice. No, it's nice because it cuts everything else out, you know? But, hey, beggars can't be choosers, you know? It is what it is. Do what you want to do, man. But, yeah, welcome back on, dude. I... Just recently, I was going to talk to you a little bit more about this, but with the whole like UK Russia thing going on right now, or not UK, excuse me, the whole Russia and Ukraine, not UK. Ukraine it's you. There's a U and a K in there, but it's not United Kingdom.
The beginning of the word.
With that whole thing going on, I was just watching this documentary. I shouldn't say documentary, an explanation as to why. And there's like so many strategic values that go into like why they want to get it. There's a lot of things going on there that like I was like researching it. I don't really know a whole lot about that stuff because it's before my time. And
how do you know I was gonna be balls deep in that? I didn't know everything.
Well, my thing is like I had to go like figure out what NATO meant and all that stuff because I didn't know anything. I don't know shit about nothing when it comes to that. And then I spent some time looking it up just because I was interested in it, and then found out that there's a lot of strategic resources specifically in that area, plus the region that where they're in. Russia's kind of one of those areas where, you know, when they were during the war, when the USSR was still the Soviet Union, they had a lot more areas. Mm-hmm. So once the Soviet Union fell, it collapsed. Excuse me. It like created 17 different other countries.
17? I didn't know that.
I think it was like 17 or 13. I just watched it, man. It's still somewhat fresh, but. It created a whole bunch of other areas now where they had to, you know, kind of govern themselves and do that. So, you know, it kind of shrank down that whole area. And then, you know, now Ukraine has got a lot of shit going on there. I mean, besides, fucked up Chernobyl, whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah, I didn't know that was going to be in Ukraine because I knew it was in the USSR.
You know what? It's really funny.
The very tip of it.
I was just thinking about it. I was like, I watched that series on HBO of Chernobyl.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It's fucking crazy, bro.
Good.
That shit fucking freaked me out. I did not realize and they filmed it so well too. They filmed it really well. I thought they did it like how it was very well put together from the aspect of like they didn't know fucking nothing. They tried to play it off like it was just some basic ass fire and you know whatever, but like bro, like I mean, the radiation aspect of it wasn't very accurate because radiation doesn't do that to you necessarily. It doesn't like cause you to bleed. It causes other things to happen, but over a period of time.
Yeah, long exposure, it'll eat away at everything.
Correct. I mean, there are some circumstances where it depending on like the heat or what comes off of it could hurt you that way. But like when you look at radiation poisoning and what happens to your body. You know, more or less, it's going to come down to like organ failure.
Back then, no one knew what radiation did. They used to make like sodas with radium in it or something like that.
What the fuck?
And this one race car driver would drink all the time, and he'd promote it. And then he died. When he died, like his nose and ears were falling off him, and there were like holes and sores in his body. And they had to bury him in a lead casket and pour concrete over it.
When the fuck was this?
Hella long ago.
What the fuck? Grady Thor?
No. This is like 1950s, like right after the bomb drop and like
what the we made like, we did some fucking stupid shit like put some weird shit and stuff. And
It did not last too long because the dude died in like weeks.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Yeah, I was on Reddit, and then someone posted a whole link for it, and I read the whole Wikipedia about it.
That's fucking crazy,
Yeah,
dude.
it was cool.
I don't know. Any kind of poison, any kind of radiation for that matter. I remember I was watching a YouTube video of this guy, and they go down to Pripyat, I think it's called, this actual town, Pripyat, I think that's how you say it, I don't know. But they go down there, and the clothes from the firefighters that fought the fire are still in the basement of the hospital there, and they go down there and they're taking tests of the equipment or the clothing, and it still has radiation on it.
Yeah.
And it has the equivalent. If you were to go down there with no protection on and be exposed to this radiation, it'd be the equivalent of experience radiation for like an entire year normally. Like we experience radiation
For how long though? Because about the time exposure too. Like
so, like for instance, we get exposed to I watched the whole explanation. We get exposed to a certain level of radiation by the year, like normally, just from normal shit around the
sun.
world, right?
The sun.
Whatever, yeah. So, but he said within 1 hour of being down there without any kind of equipment or any kind of protection, if you were exposed to this for 1 hour, that would be the equivalent amount of radiation that you would experience in an entire year of just normal life.
And this was like 50 years ago when the accident happened or something like that?
I mean, this was like, the video was like 6 or 7 years ago, but like it's...
No, Chernobyl.
Oh, yeah, no. And there is... I didn't do like more research into it because I'm, one of those guys where I like kind of go for it. Like you could even like argue that a lot of the deaths that took place 10, 15 years after that, all the way through Europe and those areas because of the wind and how it took the radiation. I mean, they were feeling that shit fucking... What was it? They got notified because it was in the air. What was it, like almost 100 and something miles
100
away?
kilometers away.
Yeah.
There was like another scientist, and he was like, it was like one of his sensors went off, and it was like,
Something
what's
seriously
going
wrong.
on? Like it's off the chart right now, and
So I
it's
think
like it is what we're picking up. That means what's coming from it is like 10 million rads or like 10,000 rads or something like that.
Some madness shit, man. But that shit, it's
But
just,
yeah, that was in that show.
it's fucking. I thought that show was, and then it was. There's just other shit in that show that was kind of like, oh wow, it's eye opening. You're like, okay, this is really that bad. And still to this day, we have a sarcophagus that's around it that we can't fix. It'll always be there.
Yeah.
It's just an open fucking reactor that we have to deal with for the rest of forever.
No, it'll eventually. It all has a half-life. It'll eventually
Right, but
get
radiation,
to a
like,
safe
it's just,
level.
I know, but they're gonna have to just keep building shit over it. It's just there's no way to give a like, okay, it's done. Like for instance, you really want to fuck shit up, go blow that thing up and just see what happens. Like, but the problem is that you kill the world. You don't just kill one specific thing. You kill
You
everything.
poison everything.
Right. But long story short, like I thought it was when I found out that they were invading Ukraine, I was like, they wanted out of all the fucking places, they took the place that was the most fucked up. Like they couldn't have like.
See, that's what we keep thinking about Ukraine. We keep thinking Ukraine is Ukraine and like the Soviet USSR version of Ukraine, and like they have 44 million people there. There's more people in Ukraine than there is in California.
Is there really? Oh, dude, I just saw this. Actually, I just popped in my brain. Not Lomachenko. I think it's Lomachenko, the fucking boxer.
Yeah.
He's Ukrainian.
He's the mayor of fucking Kiev.
He went back and signed up in the army to fight against Russia.
He's the mayor of Kiev now. He's been the mayor of Kiev. And he
Holy
was like,
shit,
instead
I
of
was
him
like-
leaving or anything, like, he just suited up. He's like, I'm fighting this shit too. It's like, that's something he would do.
I mean, we're gonna get into. Especially with the idea of war going on. I mean, it's the biggest thing that's happened there since World War II.
It's what's going on there is absolutely fucking insane.
Oh, thanks, Kira.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go put that dog away. Keep going.
So
She's gonna bark the whole time.
there are government-sponsored campaigns where they are giving supplies to the citizens to make Molotov cocktails. So there's like whole groups of women and children breaking down styrofoam into fucking bottles and then putting gasoline on it to make hillbilly napalm. What else are they doing? They hand out over 10,000 rifles, AK-12s to everyone.
Oh, bro, they were fucking. What was it? I was just telling somebody this. I was just actually, as a matter of fact, I was just watching a video before you came back. You were grabbing shit. Was this video of these guys who were making smoke or whatever the fuck bombs because the the trucks or whatever Humvees that would come in. They just fucking throw them in there and they explode. They're like shrapnel bombs, like small shrapnel bombs. They would just drop into them.
Well, yeah, that's what frag grenade is. When it explodes, the explosive doesn't really kill you. It's a shrapnel, so that's why it gives it a bigger kill radius, or even just maims people, so they're out of the fight.
Yeah.
So you can do that with like nails, like pieces of metal, throw it in a fucking like a tin can, and then when that goes off, it's gonna fuck everyone up around it.
Yeah, fuck that, dude.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
that's how that works.
That shit's dangerous. Well, here, listen, it's war, dude. There's nothing pretty about war.
I mean, yeah, you're invading my country. You're
gonna
bombing
die. I'm gonna
all
kill
the.
you.
Yeah, as your campaign's coming through, you're bombing every building as you can come through to try and defeat us. They're literally dropping artillery on all this, like every building in the city. Tanks are driving through the streets, seeing a building, and just shooting a round off at it, and then keep going, and just shooting at buildings.
Yeah,
There's
but
no one
you gotta
shooting at
think,
them.
but you got to think like what's. I mean, obviously there's strategic placement and there's ideas behind like why they're doing it. You know, for strategic play. There's obviously things going on there, but I think there's a lot of other things that are going on. Like I don't know where Putin stands and what he's trying to do, but like, I mean.
He's trying to reunite all of the USSR.
He can, but it's not going to go the same way like it used to. Things have changed, man. It's gonna.
So this is where I'm gonna like bring my expertise at, because I've been studying this way before like the war happened, and so when it happened, I was like, oh my god, like that makes sense, because you can't find like any videos about China really. People like doing explanations or deep military dives, but everyone's doing about Russia, and they've been doing it for like years. I've been watching them because I find it entertaining. So Russia tried to invade Georgia in like 2006, right? And they did, and it was a shit show. All their military is like from the 80s. It's all, pre-Soviet stuff. And they found out that like they're completely inept in their ability. They had just crappy radios. That was their only like really form of communication. They had no electronics, no night vision. No one had any like kind of real plate carriers or real supplies. It was just kind of like some Vietnam era kind of holsters for ammo,
old school shit.
Yeah, for like ammo and water. He realized it was really bad, so he started a new program to like modernize his army. But to do that though is so expensive. Like we spend a huge amount of money on our military. That's why we're so advanced. Yeah. And they had to bring it up from the 80s to today's. Like it was too big of a cost. And they have 1.2 million soldiers. We don't keep that many. So he was going to take out like 300,000. He was going to try and modernize that and try and modernize as much of his tanks as he can, because none of them have any electronics, maybe except for the periscope for the cannon. Other than that, it's not electronic at all. Meanwhile, we have panoramic views of a periscope that have infrared and night vision. We have automated turrets for the 50-round Browning on top. We can just control it with the joystick. We have encrypted radio communications that is much clearer and better. We have satellite GPS. Everyone has GPS. We have drones. They only have like 25 drones total, Russia. And all their drone tech comes from us. They buy it from us. They don't have the ability to manufacture any of it.
Where did you get where did you get your information from? Or did you just kind of research it on your own, or did you just kind of go?
Mostly YouTube videos of other experts, people who like got in the military and they start like a YouTube channel, or just other people in general. It's like sometimes they'll just do a video of like an aviation expert, and they're like, today we're doing an episode about a Russian Su-57, or they'll do something about what happened in Georgia. And so
you gotta be careful. Don't go too far down the fucking rabbit hole.
Yeah, we're getting conspiracy theories.
Because I do that shit sometimes, and I'll be like 3 a.m. looking at some fucking video, like, oh my.
Dude, no, that happens. like when the pandemic was happening, I wasn't
problem.
working. It'd be like 5 in the morning. I'm like, there's another recommended video I really like, and I didn't know there was a watch later option. So like, it's gonna disappear if I don't click on it.
That's where they fucking get us. God damn you, YouTube, you son of a bitch.
Yeah,
we love you.
They're good.
Fuck.
They're good.
So, anyways, you were saying so. So they have we're more sophisticated.
They were trying
technology-wise.
to modernize, and that's when they helped fight ISIS in Syria. With basically them trying to test out some of their new modernized weapons and like new tactics and everything. And when they did that, they didn't really have any insignias or markings on any of their soldiers' uniforms, because they weren't trying to prove anything they were doing. It was like kind of secretive, like tactics where we tested out, which is what we do, but we don't hide it. It's kind of why we're constantly at war, to constantly sharpen our sword. So they did that, and I believe they also did that in Chechnya, because they also conquered that. And then, so there's about suggested 300,000 soldiers that have been modernized, and only like a couple thousand tanks, because I think it's called T-80 Armada. It's supposed to be better than one of our tanks.
Okay.
And a couple of aspects, but we have a lot better electronics than anyone else in the world.
So through this modernization of weaponry and whatnot, I mean, is that the only thing that they're really worried about, or is there other things that's going on? I mean, come on, there has to be more to it than just trying to upgrade everything just so they can get to. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, what is it? We don't have the largest army in the world.
We don't need it. We don't need it.
We don't. Right. We like, for instance, what was it they were saying that China has like some fucking crazy amount of people, but they're it's just because
they're not modernized either.
There are a lot of fucking people. That's what they
Yeah.
have. They have numbers, right?
Yeah, they have like 1.2 million soldiers also.
And we just have technology where we spend more than any other country combined.
And we because of that, that's like how we've been heading. And there's also a ton of video I watched about what we're doing with our military, because when we realized that the Iraq war was over and the war on terror was over, we realized that like Russia and China were our two main enemies again, and we needed to like focus on that and change our military and our tactics to assess that. And so a lot of technology and our future technology that's coming out is going to be like 100-to-1 kill death ratio.
Mm-hmm.
So our technology is going to be vastly superior. So we don't even need as many soldiers because they outnumber us. Each country outnumbers 10-to-1, but we're going to kill 100-to-1.
Wow.
Yeah. So our Abrams tank is already a kill death ratio of 100. It's been like that for a good time. Our Bradleys and our armored personal carriers, APCs, are getting an upgrade. They're going to get 50 millimeter cannons on them that shoot 5,000 yards, 5,000 feet, when most tanks only shoot 4,000.
4,000. It's gotta be 4,000. There's no way.
Yeah, tanks shoot 4,000, but the 50 millimeter cannon's going to shoot 5,000 feet.
Oh, you said 5,000 feet?
Yeah, so it's going to shoot farther, and it has better electronics, and it can carry 200 rounds instead of a tank which would carry like 40 rounds for a cannon. And so basically, non-tanks APCs, which we have a lot of, would murder tanks before they even get into distance.
Yeah, we have some fucking crazy shit.
Yeah,
man.
we're planning because Russia has 12,000 tanks. They were like, well, we're going to make shit that's null and void your tanks.
Well, the real question is not necessarily is it going to end with just this invasion. I mean, the real question is going to be, where are we going to go from here? What is going to be the next step? You know, I've watched plenty of people break down scenarios. India invading this and China taking fucking Taiwan and Japan and fucking South Korea.
I can tell you about a bunch of that stuff too.
But
I'm up and up on that.
But the truth of the matter is, you know, we don't know what's going to happen. I think we're speculating.
We have some solid evidence for what's going to happen.
Right. We know. Okay, for instance, like the leaders, the people who are in specific roles, who see what's happening, they know it's a chess match, right? We all know what the next move's going to be. The question is how we're going to deal with it when it does happen, because you know, they got a lot of these guys now. I just, you know, spent some time on my good old fucking social media outlet, which I only follow on I only do Instagram now. I don't do anything else. I fucking gave up Facebook. It's just boring as fuck now.
Yeah. Get Reddit.
And I know I gotta get in that. And you know, like a lot of these guys, like celebrities, you know, I just watched like Tyson Fury, for instance. He's like, man, if we go to war, we're strapping up, dude. Like, I'm going to war. My dad's going to war. Kids. I was like, you know, we were never in a generation that was about that. You know, we've never experienced something like that.
Yeah,
you
we
know?
have. 9/11.
I mean, okay.
I mean, we're too young for that. We're too young, but you can feel like, you know, the feeling.
I was literally, what was
11.
that?
You're 11.
I was 11 years old. Yeah. I mean, come on. Like,
but you know the
we
feeling.
didn't experience that like it wasn't like a fucking world war, you know, or like everybody went to war. Like you know, it was different. Yes, was it a serious and a horrible disaster? Absolutely. Did we want to go over and kick ass? We did, and we you know, a lot of people died, unfortunately. But
we dropped a lot of bombs.
Fucked up a lot of shit.
A lot of bombs.
At the end of the day, you know, what did we really accomplish? You know, I mean, there's always going to be shit going on. I mean, we killed the dude who plotted the whole thing out, but you know, now I feel like we're kind of back to square one with our pullout and everything now we're doing, and it's like, okay, cool. Like, what do we Like, there's sometimes where I think, like, I know we have to put our nose in everything because we try to like make it better,
Yeah,
but sometimes shit just is just shit.
it's out of
Like
our
it's
control.
like sometimes like, but I know we're in the habit. Like we used to be all about our neighbors and like cared about people and tried to help out, and that's great. That's what we strive to do is help whenever we can. But like sometimes just these motherfuckers don't want our help. Like legitimately, they're just like, nah, this doesn't
Oh,
work.
we don't do that to help out. That's what we're sold.
But
There's
I know
money in it.
there's
We get a lot of
always
resources.
I know, but we used to do it a specific way. There used to be a method to the madness. There used to be a better way of communicating and telling people, keeping people more informed in a certain sense, so that people could really understand why we're doing what we're doing. I think now we've gotten to the point where there's a lot of
The only time we really tried to spread democracy was when Russia was really powerful, and it was the Red Scare, and we were like, all right, well, everyone needs to be democratic, so they're not our enemy.
there's a lot of
And that was in the 60s.
there's a lot of deception, and there's a lot of political like, oh, I'm gonna do this so I can get myself a little higher, or I can make a little more money on the side. And I mean, sometimes when you're doing that's what it is what it is, man. There's always gonna have that. They're always gonna have that side of the government. You're always gonna have that side of anything. War is gonna cost money, and you make shady deals and do whatever. But
So we do know what's going on because we've already seen it. Russia has already, as I said, conquered, like invaded like 3 different countries, and they try to invade Iraq or Iran back in the 90s to try and take its oil. And Lukashenko, I believe the president of Belarus, who's teamed up with Russia, who's a complete partner and is ready to invade Ukraine with them, aired some battle plans on like a news, like an interview, and he had like a map. And this idiot didn't realize that like they also had the plans for after they invade Ukraine, and that Russia was planning to invade Moldova after Ukraine. So Russia trying to like invade every NATO country and take its resources because there's a fuck ton of money in all these countries that he wants. Like Ukraine has a huge natural gas reserve, and I believe that's what they've basically already conquered. It's in the bottom right corner of Ukraine. They produce so many crops. They're mostly a farming. They produce a ton of crops for like all of Europe. They are the only, because of the USSR, they had the only docks to where you can make a carrier that doesn't freeze during the winter. That's something that anywhere in Russia you can't make a carrier because they don't have the harbor set up for it, but they had one from the USSR. It doesn't freeze during the winter. There's a ton of rare metal like reserves
that's
out
what I'm
there
saying.
too.
There's got to be resources.
So
there.
and there's 44 million people. They make a ton of money, and they're like, what is that? If the USSR has 144 million people, and Ukraine's 44 million, that's 1/3 of their entire population. That's their biggest win. Georgia and Chechnya and the Crimea. That's not. Oh, actually, they didn't conquer Chechnya. They're just Putin put in a leader that is pro-Putin, and like his little bitch. But they already conquered Crimea, and they're slowly trying to conquer Georgia. They've been changing the markers, like their border, every night. Like it'll be a couple hundred yards further in. That's how they do it at night. They'll change the markers where the border is. And so slowly encroaching on that. And then, as you said, what the country doing, China has been trying to conquer Taiwan. And when this whole thing broke out with Ukraine, they tried to do that again, and it got shut down. And for a while there, they were trying to slowly encroach on islands around China. They're trying to expand and slowly expand their empire. And so we had to send out a whole fleet just to push their naval away because, and so did Japan, because it was a crisis like 6-8 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because China was like sending soldiers and naval ships to try and push out actual like people who live there and like boaters and like fishermen to try and conquer islands. And we're like, nope, you need to quit doing that. Like you're not conquering, you're not expanding your empire to conquer more.
Right. Or giving themselves an opportunity to have a spot to. Yeah.
So we've been at war with China and Russia and proxy wars. So with China, it's economic war. And with Russia, they've been doing a ton of propaganda, and that's why we have QAnon and we have a bunch of stuff like that. And they've been trying to divide America to make us weak because they're trying to expand and get their power back, and they do not want to go up against us because we are the strongest military by 10 times of the entire world. We could take on the entire world. They all got together and fought us, and we could defend our entire borders like indefinitely.
Here's the thing, and I'm not, and this is not any way to kind of like beat our chest and say we're the best, because we have a lot of flaws and a lot of things that.
Oh yeah, we do. I'm glad we recognize that.
Yeah, we have a lot of flaws that go on that we do. You know, we spend a lot of money on defense, which is great, but we're easily manipulated and corruptible for the most part. We're already corrupt in a lot of ways, but we're easily able to be influenced by social media and a lot of stuff. I mean, you could sit there. There's been proven they have these fucking troll farms that literally create nonsense just so that they can
complete propaganda all the time,
stir the pot and damage stuff, create just random people.
Divide.
They've proved that. They've shown that. Fucking people who are undercover Russian, whatever the fuck, or undercover whatever.
The CIA and FBI both agree. They're like, so here's the reports. We know there's propaganda farms in Russia.
Yeah, and they're doing it. And the scary part is that we are falling susceptible to a lot of that stuff sometimes, because you know, our way of life is kind of, it's very, there's no sense of like, how do I explain this? Our way of life is very easygoing. There's no really a whole lot of hardship going on, right? You know, you can go down to the store and pick up something, or you can go over here and get that, and you can order DoorDash and have your shit dropped off at your front door.
Yeah.
There's no like real struggle.
There's a struggle if you don't have money.
That's true. But
That's what it is.
My point though is that if you have the money, if you have the means, you can walk out and go get something, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you're living in fucking the middle of the Arctic Circle and you have to literally like you can't even have running water because it freezes because it gets too cold there. Like,
yeah,
there's just certain areas like
we have a lot of privileges and luxuries.
We do. We have a lot of that stuff. And the problem and the concern is sometimes that I think about is that we're easily susceptible to not necessarily attack. Like when you think about like attack, you know, we think of like fucking just ships coming in and planes and all this stuff. But like when I think about it, I think of like EMP blast where shit gets shut off. We lose power failure. You know, there's lack of communication. A lot of things that can go horribly wrong. I mean, just think, man, when we lost power, what was it, here in California when the blackouts last year? We lost power for fucking, what was it, like a whole day, and people were losing their fucking minds.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just a day, and that was planned. You know, like what are we gonna do if like, I mean, fortunately I was on the good side of town, but I know a lot of people who didn't have power.
Yeah.
The people were like, fucking, what do we do with ourselves? How do we communicate? Like it was just the strangest thing. Imagine the whole fucking country. Or
I've had this conversation a lot with a couple of people.
Dude, it's fucking
and on how
insane.
easy apparently it is to do this. Like
it's insanely easy. Yeah. And the thing is like, you know, I Elon Musk was talking about how he can make a solar farm that would power the entire U.S. and it would just take a corner of Utah and it would do it.
100 square miles.
And he's like, oh yeah, he could do it. But the problem is that we wouldn't do that because then it'd give like a target. Hey, blow this up, and it takes out everything. But at the same time,
that makes sense. Yeah.
At the same time, you know, you like, okay, yeah, we want to be like all about that, but it's not necessarily the best idea because while it is going to help us with our energy usage, it's not going to necessarily solve the problem, so to speak, right? It's an opportunity, it's an option. But remember, you got to think about energy. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to solar. Okay, great. What about all the other companies that are fucking our economy is founded on, like oil? Are you fucking shitting me? Are you gonna really try to go
that age old argument?
Well, no,
we can't get rid of oil. We just need to reduce our reliance on it. Like,
right.
When you crack oil, you get propane, you get gasoline, you get diesel, you get jet fuel, you get rocket fuel, and you get coke dust. And so obviously a lot of those are really important for a lot of things, like diesel for all our trucking, to all our shipping and all that, and our boats for cargo, because that's what they use as diesel. Gasoline for all of us to go to work, propane for heating or our forklifts, and then jet fuel for our entire airline system. And then rocket fuel, which
fuck it, I'm just gonna get a nuclear reactor for my car. You know, I mean, at this point,
But
I'm like, fuck
but
it,
coke
dude.
dust is used to make asphalt, and it's used to make all of plastics. Can you imagine replacing all the plastics on the extremely important things that only plastic can do?
Yeah, I mean,
No, not fucking like we can make plastic out of other carbon-based things. Like we can harvest trees, and or even coal. We can make plastic out of coal because hydrocarbons. So we can do other ways. And if gasoline did expire, we would be able to continue to make it. But the point is you're not really going to be able to get rid of airfare travel unless we can do a a hydrogen fuel cell for airplane. Airbus is working on it. It's supposed to be coming out in a couple of years for their first prototype. It's going to look funky. It's going to look like a big ass fat little airship, but it's going to use pure oxygen and pure hydrogen, and that's what they're going to use to fly.
That's insane.
So it's going to make cloud as it flies. It's going to make water vapor. And all you need to do that is have solar panels and water, and then you can make the fuel source.
That's insane.
That's all it requires. Yeah, right?
Jesus.
It'd save you a ton of money because if you're near a river, it'd be free.
What was it I saw once where this guy?
But you're not getting rid of oil.
He was talking about turning. Yeah, he was able to figure out a way to split water molecules and create heat from that. He found a way to do it. It was some kind of system.
Yeah, it's super simple. You know, I have like a torch that does that, right?
So yeah, it's a torch. Yeah, he says, yeah, I split the water molecules and it basically it superheats and that's the gas or whatever the fuck. I don't know how I explained it, but
I'll explain it for you if you want to hear it.
But he basically just takes this thing and he superheats metal in like 3 seconds, and then he's like turns it off and touches the tip and it's ice cold. It doesn't get.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was really strange. I was like, how the fuck? And I remember watching the video because my mother actually, when I was younger, I was probably only like 13, 14. She's like, check this shit out, and I was like, oh okay, this can't be real because he literally heats it, turns it off, and then touches the tip, and then it's ambient temperature. It's not even hot.
That's true.
I was like, that makes no sense because heat. Anyways, whenever you create heat, it's gonna have that.
So all you do is you get water, you put alkaline solution in it, which I believe mine was lye.
Oh, so you use caustic soda?
Yeah. Just put some caustic soda in it because it allows electricity to go across it.
Oh, it's a conductor.
Yeah. So it allows it to be conductive. And you put electricity into it, and then the electricity breaks the hydrogen from the oxygen. Mm-hmm. So then you get the two pure elements.
So why do they use caustic soda? Just is it because it's an organic material?
No. It's why would otherwise the electricity is going to I think travel across the surface, but the caustic soda allows electricity to
travel through it. But it has nothing to do with okay, and
it does with
extremely
electricity.
Alkaline too, because it's not an acid; it's an alkaline. So
it's an alkaline.
Maybe that makes sense because of the.
So you can't do it without a caustic soda, but then when you put electricity into it, it separates into two different gases, and then when it burns, because it's going to be expelled, but you have to heat it to that point, and then the flame starts. It burns at 5,012 degrees.
Wow,
which is more than
an
actual torch,
acetylene or whatever the fuck is going on.
It's really high, and it burns pure because it's only vapor is H2O. It's creating water vapor when it burns.
Wow. That's pretty insane.
Yeah, that's all it takes is a little bit of caustic soda that never really goes away, and water.
Don't you find it fucking interesting sometimes that we fucking...
I have a torch that does that.
We fucking, like, at one point, we were just, like, just random fucks living in caves and fucking just there's, like, literally, and now we're at the point where we're creating shit like this. Like, you just...
And now I have a supercomputer that sends dick pics, right?
That's all we do, man.
Yeah, I literally have, and it has filters for dick pics.
We can create amazing structures and do crazy things, but then we can send fucking horrible things to our smart device to get us in trouble.
Yeah, I have several social medias where you can send me a terrible video of some like morbid humor.
It's true though. It's funny how we can go
cave paintings to dick pics.
That's it. We can go from one thing to the next, and literally, and my point though is like at the end of the day, you know, we're going to experience something in the next 10 or 5, 10 or whatever months where we're going to be in a situation where
let's count months.
Because
the past 3 years, actually in our entire life, we've been through so many historical events. They're unprecedented. We've had the most massive wildfires. We had 9/11. We had 2 economic collapses. We had a pandemic. and we're getting ready for World War III. So it's like
know.
this generation's fucking tired. We're tired. We're over this.
Well, it's not just. I don't think it's just that, but it could be a multitude of other things as well. I mean, I think it's like that saying, tough times make easy.
No, tough times make strong men.
No. Hard times make strong men. Strong men make easy times. Easy times make weak men.
Yeah.
Weak men makes hard times. Yeah, and that's that circle. But regardless, there's gonna have and that's the whole thing. We're gonna have situations like this. It's gonna happen either way. We it's not like we're gonna just go through the rest of our lives and like not have some kind of conflict going on. It's going to happen.
Constant, yeah.
And the thing is like Putin had a plan, man. He had a plan. I got so mad the other day because I'm like, oh, he wouldn't have done this shit if we had Trump or we had Obama. But the fucking fact is, dude, he'd have done that shit no matter what, bro.
I'm so glad you said that because people realize like they're blaming Biden for this.
First. I said it first. I'll admit my wrong. I did say it at first because I was just like, oh yeah, Trump would have like, what the fuck would he like? There's nothing differently we would have done. He still would have done it. Putin had a plan. He had a strategy. We're not the center of
the universe.
No,
the world doesn't revolve around us. They were gonna do shit regardless of us.
Yeah, they don't give a shit about all that, and that's my point. Like I had to think about that for a minute. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't matter because these guys all have agendas. They have shit going on. They know. Like, okay, this isn't gonna happen, or this isn't. We're not gonna get involved with these folks. We're gonna do our own thing, and they're gonna probably have all their opinions and say what they want, but. Fuck them, and that's just, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. And it's unfortunate that, the Ukrainian people are getting fucked right now because, and it was funny, actually, I was just looking this up that they were tasked or they were going to be added to NATO with like 2024 or some shit. They were supposed to get signed up with them or be with, sign, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to treaty with them. And then they put it off. So I think that whole movement for him was to add them to invade them was like, fuck that. I'm going to take this now while I can, because once it hits a certain point, everything after that is going to be a war.
So you know how NATO works, right? If you attack one NATO nation, you attack all NATO nations. So that means we are NATO. America is NATO. So that means our Air Force would come in and just bomb the fuck out of everything. Within like a week, everything would be destroyed. We would just bomb. If we already have a fleet out there, we would just bomb the shit out of it. We actually have what is the destination? It's 13D. It is a. Let me not fuck this up because someone watching this. It is a super heavy armor brigade, and it is considered the most lethal formation ever. Mm-hmm. So it's a bunch of like tanks and APCs and the way it's designed, and we have it on its way to, I believe, to Poland, but it takes about 3 weeks to deploy because it's so much like transportation logistics. It's take 3 weeks to get it out there. But if Ukraine is still there for 3 weeks and then we show up, that means anything Russia has is fucked. Because if we have that much assets out there, we're going to have our air fleet out there too and give air superiority. And then we have the most lethal armor formation ever created. We would just sweep across anything Russia has conquered and give it back to Ukraine. And on top of that, Ukraine, I believe, captured a warship. And there was a high-ranking officer. They captured the plans that were from January, and it showed the battle plans. It said that Russia planned to conquer Ukraine in 15 days.
Wow.
Which would be Sunday. Sunday would be 15 days. And they did not expect as much resistance. They would expect that they would basically be conquering it by now.
Guess what? Mama's wrong again.
So there's still a couple of days to where shit hasn't worked out, and Ukraine can still absolutely fall because the plans haven't always gone through. But there's also speculation that Russia doesn't have the supplies to the logistics to support its troops for longer than 15 days because they didn't expect it much longer. And so there's going to be logistics issues with ammo, food, and fuel. It also shows that Russia expected a bunch of this and is still got a couple of days to see what happens. And we're thinking that because of Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, is the only reason why Ukraine hasn't fallen, because he's been holding shit down.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, 33 million people is a lot of fucking people.
44.
Oh, you said 44?
44.
44. Shit.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking people, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's bigger than California.
Well, I wonder if they're all just like, okay, well, here's the thing is like, you know, we talk about like, what was it when we talked about when we went to Vietnam, like we didn't realize how like entrenched these motherfuckers were with that environment and the tactics they used we were like not used to. We're like,
it was bad.
Yeah, they were using some fucking. They had holes and kind of all kinds of shit we weren't ready for.
So there was an estimate. We fired 50,000 rounds per kill.
Well, it's
and so that was kind of like that's why I kept using Agent Orange and trying to like
guerrilla,
drop
guerrilla
napalm
tactics,
because
bro.
we're like we can't see them. We can't kill what we can't see. They're
Yeah.
killing us in like in the brush. We couldn't even see the rifle fire in the day.
They're little people back. I mean, they're small people. They're average.
And they're probably behind trees and rocks. And
They're little people,
they're
dude.
destroying
But they
us.
use guerrilla tactics. They use tactics like, oh, I'm smaller, you're bigger. I'm faster, you're slower. You know, they didn't use tactics that we come to realize we didn't know.
They did a good job.
And that whole war was just a fucking disaster in the first place.
This isn't guerrilla warfare. This is open warfare.
Amen.
Warfare.
Fucking cheers.
To this shot.
Oh yeah.
To numb the pain of these braces.
Oh Jesus, yeah, I know. Yeah, you got your fucking braces put on, and now he's prettier than fuck. Look at this guy.
Well, am I prettier now? 'Cause this is. I look like a Dorkosaurus.
I think you're pretty.
Hey, how if I walk
I guess
with a
that's-
perfect smile?
I guess that's
and I'm
all that
just, like,
matters, right?
radiant,
Is this
right?
matters like okay? It's like I think look, man. You're doing it for your health. At the end of the day, you're doing it for you. That's all that fucking matters, bro.
All right.
Do it for you, bro. Because you know that's the thing you have to realize. Like, what was it? When I was a kid, dude, I didn't give a shit about that. I didn't care. I lost fucking teeth. I didn't give a fuck. I got older and realized, like, okay, dude, I really got to.
Yeah, you wake up, your knees hurt, your back hurts. You're like,
everything
oh,
hurts, dude.
I'm 30 and this is the problem. Like this, I
Yeah.
can't be 70 doing
Yeah,
this.
I just played some golf the other day, and I walked the course like the first time not first time I walked when I was younger with my dad. I used to fucking hate it too. He made me walk it.
Now, you came back really sunburnt, so you definitely
I got
it.
some. I walked. Yeah, it was 15,000 or 16,000 steps. I tracked it, and I walked the course. It wasn't too bad actually. I didn't mind it. I was still fine. I didn't get. It wasn't like I got physically tired. My mental state changed. So, like for instance, when I started off the round, I was very confident with my shot ability. I knew I could make shots. It was good. Towards the end, it was the putting because you had to, like, you walked up.
You don't want to be exhausted.
It takes a very, it's like you have to have this like focus, of like, okay, I got to make this putt. Yeah, I got to make this putt, and I gotta do this in a specific way to where I land it. And like it takes time for your brain to like process it, so that, and that's where when you're tired, that like fucks it all up. So I don't know. When I walked the course, it was nice. And I go figure, the one fucking day I picked is not windy at all. It's fucking beautiful. All kinds of shit was going on. It was good. It was good. All in all, but yeah, I remember getting home and I was just fucking so tired, so tired. I stopped by. I had my ritual where I go to my local bar and I get like a cheeseburger or a bacon cheeseburger. It's like my thing after having a good round, and then I'll have a beer or a margarita because margaritas is shit, and I'll just be like, all right, cool, it's time to go home. And I was so fucking dead tired. I can't even begin to explain to you how fucking tired I was, dude. Oh my god, I came home and sat down and was like, dude, my fucking feet, my leg, and then get this. The next day, I was like, I'm playing another round. Fuck it. But I played.
I know because I didn't get to get into it after you got all that done.
Yeah, but I played. But I went and played another course in Vallejo, Blue Rock Springs. It was good. I got the right course. Yeah. I played really well that day. I almost broke 90. But oh no, what I was saying is just like, you got to take care of yourself now, because in those next, in the next 10, 15 years, you don't realize like how much damage you can do to your body. Like I'm realizing now, being 31, it's like, fuck, dude, you really got to pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like my thing right now.
I was seeing people at 55 having to get cortisone shots in their knees every 3 to 6 months.
That's fucking crazy, bro. That's
and it's like
crazy.
that's what is that 15 years away from us. No, that'd be 45,
Yeah,
25.
yeah.
But even if whatever issue we're gonna do at 45, they're like, I don't want to do that. I know I'm not in my young 20s. I'm not invincible, and I gotta take care of it. And I'm doing a good job.
Right.
But not everyone is, and we're all fucking ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, what's that?
Just bite your leg. Let me get the bottle.
Oh yeah, sure. Sorry, man. I'm gonna ruin your fun here. While you're making that drink. No, yeah. I mean, yeah. You're gonna have. There's gonna be times where, like, I remember the other day. I woke up and I slept in the weirdest way. You ever had that? Dude, it happened to my shoulder. I fell asleep and my shoulder was like up here and behind my head. Like I was giving myself a fucking
Full Nelson?
like
Half
a
Nelson?
fucking Americana or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like giving myself that because I was laying, and I woke up, dude, and my fucking shoulder felt like it was like torn or damaged, right?
Yeah.
So I couldn't go past here. It was like pain. I'm like, oh no, I fucked up, right? Well, then I remember that was when I was lifting, right? I went to go do my shoulder, like a shoulder press, right?
Ooh,
And I was
ooh.
like, in this side, I can't. It goes once I start getting my reps in, I'm like, why is this side's fine? I don't have any problems. But this side, I was like, why am I? I
so
can't-
much pain. You're like, fuck it. I'm not
So
doing
I
this.
was
I'm not-
telling
I
my
won't turn
one of
anything.
my coworkers, I was telling him about like why, and he's like, you probably tore your rotator cuff. You probably
You're
tore
stressing
that,
it. You're stressing it.
or you're stressing it out, or you did a micro tear, or you did something where you fucking did something wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God damn it, that's how I know I'm getting old. I never once in my life when I was in my early 20s ever woke up going like, oh, I slept wrong. The worst thing I woke up because I slept on my arm and it was asleep. Like that was the worst thing. But I
dude,
never
right.
I never rolled the wrong way and was like,
those
oh,
days.
But now it's like I find myself going, God damn it, how the fuck did I do this? Like,
So I just experienced this recently too, because before I moved back in here, I was sleeping on a single wide memory foam mattress, and it fucking was inadequate for me, for my size and for whatever. But I would roll my side, deal with braces, and I would sleep too. And I'd wake up with my shoulder hurting, and then I would do shit at work, and we're moving 600 to 900 pounds of stone sometimes by hand. Or I'm just taking out the trash, and there's like 200 pounds, or not 200 pounds. You can't do it then. Like 150 pounds of stone. I'm like dumping in there. I'm like, why is my shoulder killing me? Come to find out, I'm sleeping on it wrong. I sleep on my back, and if I sleep on my side, I have like my shoulder completely up, so that I'm not putting pressure on the rotator cuff. Because if so, it's gonna fucking stress it and tear it.
Yeah.
It's like exactly how you did.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, that's all it takes. Like some small fucking little tiny movement, and you're fucked. I know. And
So much
that's
pain. I couldn't do shit at the gym for my shoulder for a while, or bench.
I always my father. He's hilarious. But I always tell him like I'll get sore when I go to the gym. He's like, shut the fuck up, bitch. You get sore for like 3 days. I get sore for 2 weeks. Like I'm sore for 2 weeks legitimately.
I did not want to hear that.
I always like, man, my
So wait, your
fucking-
dad, who's a big, strong dude, he's not totally in shape.
Yeah, he's
but
older.
he's not a weak person or
No,
a
he
fragile
just-
person.
it takes time to
But
heal.
if he goes to the gym, it takes 2 weeks to heal.
2 weeks he's sore. If he works out and does it consistently, like if he goes to the gym and does a good workout, and he actually does some like I shouldn't say damage, but like does whatever because he doesn't lift heavy anymore.
Even if I do go back to the gym, my first time not in a long time, and I hit it fucking hard, I'm not sore for 2 weeks.
Well, that's what
So
I'm
you're
saying.
telling me at that, how old is your dad?
60, no,
Oh.
50 something. Yeah, no, I gotta look that up. Fuck, Jesus.
Because I'm like, that's
57,
terrifying.
57, I think.
That's
57,
scary.
58.
I don't want that. No,
Yeah.
that's terrifying.
I think he's 1 year older than my mom. I always
And your
forget.
mom's birthday was last week.
That's right.
was last week.
Yeah, that's right. She turned 21 for like the 30th time.
Oh, so we don't know. We don't know what the real answer is, so we can't figure this out. There's no math.
No, yeah, no, it was just funny because like I'll explain my situation to my dad and just like I'll tell him shit like, oh yeah, it's like when I was dude, remember I think it was I was 26, 27, I was balls deep and going to the gym every single day, like every fucking day. And there's like a life
Drop
of
at 205.
yeah, my lowest I ever got to was 202. I was like the leanest I ever got was 202. And I was like skin and bones though. I was like so skinny and lean. I mean, I felt strong, but I wasn't really strong. I was just
felt good.
I felt good, and then also it was more lean mass, so it wasn't like I was. it wasn't like I felt strong, like I could lift heavy. It just felt like I just was very compact and I could do great. I could do workouts and I felt confident and I couldn't lift super heavy because I wasn't trying to. I was just trying to be.
That wasn't your goal. You dropped weight and that was your goal and you did exactly what your goal was.
But at the end of the day, it was still like a really cool like experience to go through. And then now I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be that skinny again. Because I had no muscle mass. It was just me being skinny as fuck.
What happened is your arms and your neck shrank, and you got a big head. And you got to have a thick neck.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about it. You get thick necks from working out and lifting heavy weights. It's just kind of how it goes.
So that's what you got to do. But I get you wanting to get fit again, and now that I moved back in and like things for me are financially settling and things are starting to be good. I'm gonna get back into that too.
Are you gonna make fucking a big ass bowl of tuna and mayo and like make a tuna salad like you did last time, and then I can watch you eat it in the fridge for like a week?
I made so many tuna fish sandwiches.
Dude, I've never seen we actually bought a gallon of mayo,
and it lasted a good while, and it doesn't go bad.
I was gonna say the sad part was I remember I came home. It had been in the fridge for a while. No, needless to say, you used like half of it.
Yeah,
which is a lot.
It was like $10 for like a gallon of mayo. Yeah,
it was a massive fucking thing. And like I remember we had friends over. We'd bring friends back to party, and they'd be like, "What the fuck is this?" And I go, "Kyle's really into lifting, and he likes to eat shit like that."
And sandwiches and a lot of shit requires mayo. Fuck it.
So I just remember like one day you were making a sandwich. And you're like, globbing it on there. And I happened to just pick it up. And it's been there for a while. Not that long. Like, I don't think it was that long. But I pick it up and I'm like, hey, do you know this is expired? And you're like halfway through your sandwich and you're like, no. And I go, yeah. Look, I show you the date and you're like, fuck it, I'm eating this.
If it's refrigerated good, it's gonna last longer than
we just like fuck.
Expired.
How long is it expired? 3 months? We're good. Like, just fuck it. Like, we'll be
I think like milk is the only thing that like you need to watch expiration date. Because when it's getting expired, it's going bad. Everything else is just like
some things.
It's a best buy date. Like it's gonna taste best buy.
I'll argue with that. I'll argue with you there because yes, there are specific things. Fresh meat, you always want to follow the use by. Milk, you want to follow the use by.
Mm-hmm.
I have literally found I found vacuum sealed cheese like that expired in 2014 that was like falling behind something. It was vacuum sealed, right? So when it's there's no air in there, nothing. Vacuum sealed, perfectly good, but it expired in 2014.
We found it when?
I found it like 2017. So 3 years
later.
It had fallen into a spurt.
Yeah.
Like you would never have known it was there unless you did like a reset or whatever.
Yeah, you're doing your job.
It had like the old labeling and everything on it. Like it was just. I remember I saw that and I was like, fucking. But I remember pulling it out going like, dude, this is 3 years expired. And I looked at it and like it was perfectly, like nothing was wrong with it. No mold.
No bacteria.
No bacteria.
By the way, cheese is already mold, but yeah.
Right. It's a controlled, controlled fungi or fungi, whatever. Or Bacteria, yeah. But I just still think it's pretty funny because I know we had this concept of like how our food is like, maintain. Like if you go anywhere else in the world, for instance, like we have to refrigerate our eggs, okay?
But the rest of the world doesn't do that.
Well, you know why, right?
Because they don't wash them.
No, it's actually not that. We use pesticides to kill bacteria or any insects that want to grow or on the eggs, and what that does is it weakens the shell of the egg. When it weakens the shell, it leaves them more susceptible to bacteria and growth of bacteria, because the shell actually is kind of it's a protector. It's designed. Yeah. Nature designed that to protect it. So they're supposed to be shelf stable. They're naturally shelf stable, but we go through. We go. Yeah, I know. I was in Spain and I went to this little market, and I walk in. The first thing I see is eggs on the side counter.
What have you been to Spain?
I went to Spain. I went to Spain and Paris like fucking 3 years ago. I went to Spain and I saw this on the market counter, and I'm like, the fuck? And I remember looking it up because I'm like, this is bullshit. Like they can't. Yeah, I know because. Every morning, like farmers would go out there and grab them, bring them inside, cook them or whatever, or just leave them on the counter because it's like they're
protected naturally.
They're naturally designed to survive through harsh conditions. Like they're supposed to survive, So this idea of like it needs to be refrigerated. It's like no. The reason why it needs to be refrigerated is we fucked it up and we sprayed shit on there to protect it more. And it's like, dude, we fucked ourselves. Like we did this. I don't know. Stupid
But
tangent.
I've had eggs be in the fridge for like 3 months, and they're still good.
we went from talking about Russia and Ukraine to fucking eggs. You know, like
Good point. Good point. Do you want to get
like
back
does
to that?
Russia have eggs right now? Are you guys like what's that?
I feel like I just want to just like dump all my Russia information, my Ukraine information, because that's kind of what we started off on. And like whoever's watching is like, can you fucking finish that and not just hop around?
So the truth of the matter is,
Are
is
we talking
that
about hair gel next?
the invasion of Russia and Ukraine has its strategic values. It has its they need that specific location for a reason. And I think
So many reasons, yeah.
And I think, one of the reasons why is because if they were to go NATO, that has a perfect spot to fucking put some weapons in there. They go, hey, listen, you want to get crazy? You're gonna get fucked up.
Yeah.
It's a perfect location. Like we could be like, oh, you're part of NATO now? Awesome. We're gonna put some bombs in here and go, if you want to play that game, y'all fucked. And
So we already did that with Romania. We put a anti-missile defense system in Romania. That was in 2015. That was a huge issue. Putin was pissed off about that. And that was right before the election. And that was when Hillary and Trump was getting involved. And that's when Putin started getting like antsy and starting doing some stuff. He did like some nuclear drills in Moscow and getting everyone like upset. Because the way the anti-defense missile system works is the only way to take out a nuke safely is on its takeoff. Before it starts to get to orbit, if you have another missile take it out, then you're fine. And then when that happens, we send another missile out to where it came from to destroy the silo. So we'll just drop missiles on that silo to make sure that nothing else is coming out. Because there's going to be, 50 missiles, 100 missiles, 250, 1,000 missiles from a silo? So
probably not that many.
So we
but
take
okay.
one out. That means we have to have 1,000 anti-missile. So yeah, so one takes
Give or
off,
take. I mean,
another
there's-
missile takes it out, and then we just drop cruise missiles on them so they can't launch anymore. And Romania is really close. So if they had any near the border of Russia, because Moscow is really close actually to all the other countries, that's one reason why I want to take Ukraine is to put some room between NATO nations and the capital of Moscow, the capital of Russia. And so that our secret missile defense system in Romania would null and void most of his nukes on that front. And then we have submarines that patrol the Pacific to make sure that if he were to shoot a nuke, we'd be able to take that out too.
Do you think our involvement with this is going to be sooner or a little bit later?
So, looking at past history, World War I, World War II, we only got involved at the very end.
And then when we did get involved, shit got
we
set.
tried real fucking hard to stay out. World War I, we didn't get involved until before they captured France. We got involved way too late. World War II, it wasn't until they almost
the invasion
destroyed
of
Britain.
D-Day invasion was 1941. So
And we only-
the war
yeah.
ended in 45.
44.
44.
And we only found
It
out
was late,
and
so
we only
I
got
call it.
involved after we got like a telegram of like Hitler trying to make a deal with Mexico that if they got involved, that they would get like
that was a real thing.
Texas and California back.
That was a real fucking thing too. I didn't realize that. I watched a fucking I watched the movie what the fuck? The English were the one
The
who encoded it.
Kingsman.
No, was it The Kingsman?
Yeah, that was a really good movie.
No, but they also did it. They also did it for. Oh, maybe
It was
no.
a new Kingsman.
It was
like
the
World War
Kingsman,
I.
wasn't it? Yeah, okay. I heard about that,
That's why we
but
got involved in World War I.
they were trying to get Mexico to get
And World War
involved.
II was because of Pearl Harbor is why we got involved.
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, that was the
Yeah.
big deter. No, what's funny is I watched a little thing on that too, but
So it
about.
took-
Go ahead.
So
We'll talk about that later.
It took a lot for us to get involved the first few times. It's like now, Ukraine isn't enough for us to get involved, but it's like, hey, we need to learn from our previous mistakes and not getting involved too late when they've already conquered a ton of a continent, and then having to fight all these forces back. Like, why don't we just fuck them up now because we can, and save all the innocent lives? Well, I guess the problem is because of nukes and
Mutual
whatnot.
assured destruction. I mean, there's going to
Mad,
be
yeah.
variables that you have to consider. I mean, You can't necessarily just go into somewhere and just start bombing people and and yeah, we're gonna have while we are, excuse me, more advanced than these individuals are, and we have a lot more shit that we could do. Is it the best decision right now? And here's the thing that pisses me off sometimes is like some of these guys aren't going to make these decisions because of their own. Well, where can I? If I make this decision, how's it going to benefit me, or how's it going to benefit that?
Greed.
And I think that's a huge problem because a lot of these guys they don't give a shit. I mean, I don't know them. I can't sit there and say this is just my opinion, so to speak. But like, I feel like it's more motivated based on like, oh, well, where's this going to put me? Am I going to be the number one next year for the election, or am I going to be this person? Am I going to have this much more? Is it the best decision to do that for the American people, or is it just to benefit myself? And I think that's kind of where I draw the line sometimes, where I'm like, hey, this is, if we're going to do something, we're going to do it. Like, I'm not sitting here saying go to war and make things happen. I'm just saying that if we're going to do that, we need to stand by it and just say, this is what we're doing.
So
saddle up, boys. Let's go to war.
Biden already gave Ukraine $2.2 billion worth of weapons. We gave them a fuck ton of Stingers and Javelins to take out any of their air. We gave them, what else did we give them? We gave them guns, and we gave them $2.2 billion worth of weapons. And that's actually a huge reason why Russia hasn't been able to win yet, because their tanks come in, we drop a javelin on
When
them.
did that happen? When did they give them all the weapons and stuff?
Only a couple months ago.
Oh, really? Before everything went down?
Yeah, we were rushing training them on how to use them. And that's kind of why they haven't won yet, is because we gave them the technology to push off their heavy equipment.
I'm terrible. I need to get more involved with the actual.
So I'm heavily involved, but I just realized literally last night that I've been eating a ton of Ukraine propaganda. Because on Reddit, I'm seeing a ton of cool stuff about Ukraine and all of the fighting and what's going on in Russia. But the one on YouTube, and this guy who I've been watching for years about military information, and he, in the past year, wanted to start a second YouTube channel. One for his short little videos of military equipment, like a specific gun or a tank and all that. And he does a little quick 6-8 minute video on it. But then he's been doing these 20-minute videos on an entire country and their battle plans and all that. And he got really in depth, and he enjoyed doing that. But I'm gonna do a second channel because if you guys don't fully enjoy it, that's what I'm gonna do. Well, because of what's going on with Ukraine, he did a whole 20 fucking plus minute video of just Ukraine and Russia, and it made me realize I was eating a lot of Russia or a lot of Ukraine propaganda, because he had a very unbiased opinion about it, a lot of more data and information, because that's what he is. He's closer to expert than really. I wish I could get more expert information, but he's probably the best I can get to. And he's so even though Russia's not winning, it's still on track and on plan. Yeah. Even though they've lost a ton of casualties and not winning the way they thought they have, this is still exactly as they planned. And a lot of stuff we're seeing is just Ukrainian propaganda to seem that they're winning or that Russia's so bad. But there's been so much propaganda in Russia that actually most of Russia supports the war. And we've been seeing that a ton of Russians don't support it. About 50 to 70% of Russians support the war. And then we've been seeing videos of Russians being captured, and how that they were being told that they're conscripts, they're only there for a year, and that they were told it was a training exercise, they didn't know what was going on. And that's what they're told to say. Truth is, everyone knows it's a war, and they're going to war. They're going to capture Ukraine. To play the game. It's the game. And that's what they're told to say. So it's not a crime, because it's not an actual war. It's not an actual invasion. It's supposed to be a peacekeeping operation from Russians' perspective, and it's fuck no, it's not. You've literally been bombing and artillery firing the literal shit out of the lower eastern of Ukraine.
I saw that fucking video of the missile hitting an apartment complex. I'm holy shit.
I saw artillery round hit a literal child riding his bike down the street, direct fire.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, just a security cam footage of 100 feet away, and then kid just riding his bike, and just boom, explosion, nothing left.
Jesus Christ.
And that was the first day of the invasion.
Oh my God.
And then now we have them dropping bombs and artillery firing entire cities to try and break the city so they can
It's
capture it
terrible.
easily.
That's fucking terrible, dude. It's
And
fucking terrible.
the Russia had a warship that dropped off a ton of armor on the beaches, uncontested, in the southeast part of Ukraine. So now not only is Russia coming in from the east and the northeast, but also coming from the south, and they're going to entirely encapsulate the southeast version of Ukraine, and that's basically Ukraine considered that almost lost. It's all red. Most of that's Russian controlled, and they're dropping and fighting hard Russians. But the Russians that are fighting Ukraine are losing, and they're getting fucked up, and they're trying to act more peacefully. And in the videos, they're like, "Oh, I thought it was a training exercise," but yet the Russians in the southeast,
Right. They're doing that.
they literally
they're
got
playing the game, man.
yeah,
It's
they
just a
literally
game.
got a radio argument because they're unencrypted. So Ukrainians were hopping on the radio, same frequency that the Russians are on, and talking shit to them. They're like,
Hey, I gotta give credit to those motherfuckers who the island, the 13 guys on the island.
Snake Island.
Fucking that shit. I'm sorry. When I saw that shit, like I saw it all over social media.
Yeah.
And they're like talking, and they're like, "Yes, this is a Russian da da da
Warship surrendered."
And he's like, "Fucking," he's like,
Should,
"Go
should
fuck
I,
your."
should I tell them to go fuck themselves? And then the woman's like, just in case. Oh, okay. He's like, and then he turns the volume up. He's like, Russian warship, go fuck yourself. By the way, we thought they died. They were all captured. So they're still
Were they
all
really?
alive. Yeah, they're not dead. They were all
Oh, they
captured.
didn't die. Oh.
We thought they
I
did.
kind of like it, not to be negative, but like I kind of wish they
They're
would have
just so
died
badass
because
they
that would have
fought
been like the
and-
most badass thing ever. Like now here's the fucked up part. What are their lives going to be now? I mean, they're going to be celebrities for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But now that they said fuck you to the Russians, like their
They're
lives
not
are going
a
to
military
suck.
base. They were
They're
kind of
gonna
there to
suck.
like regulate transport.
Their lives are going to
ships.
suck now.
Yeah.
They're going to be prisoners of war. Those motherfuckers are going to get tortured and fucking killed or some shit by the Russians. They're not going to like,
Yeah.
oh, fucking Jesus. Unless they win, then they'll be heroes.
Yeah.
You know? Then
So
it's-
here's the thing: we're no longer gonna call it a Moscow Mule. It's gonna be a Snake Island Mule. The difference is it's just a little bit stronger.
is that what we're going to do?
Yeah, we're gonna do it. It's a Snake Island Mule. Fuck on Moscow Mule.
Snake
So-
Island Mule. That's funny.
So there was a radio conversation
want
between
the- I want
Ukrainians and Russians, and he was
Ukrainian
like,
mule.
"Stop taking a defensive position. Surrender now, or I'm gonna take this javelin and I'm gonna feed you to the worms." I'm like, "Oh, that's gangster." And then the Russian was like, had nothing to say back, and it was like a Modern Warfare like lobby, and he's like, "Oh man, fuck you, you faggot." And it's like, all right, so that's a real conversation over a radio frequency between two armies fighting each other. And it felt like a Call of Duty lobby. The truth is like those Ukrainians were like, I'm gonna fucking kill all you. Like I'm not even an army. I'm a civilian and I have a javelin. I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about war is it's not fought on some weird front when it's like that. You're fighting in streets. You're fighting next to your.
Did you hear about the grandma?
No. What grandma? There's a grandma? What grandma?
Most people have heard about this, but for those that haven't, there was a very old lady who walked up with some Russian soldiers and was recording it, and walked up to him and started talking shit to him, and was like, "You shouldn't be here. You're invaders. Fuck you. Get out of my country." And the Russian was trying to de-escalate it, and then she's like, "Here, take these sunflower seeds, put them in your pockets, so when you die, some flowers will rise from your corpses on my land."
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Who was this? What happened?
Because the sunflower is Ukraine's national seed because they have entire fields made out of
I
sunflowers.
gotta look this up.
Ukraine, yeah, sunflower seeds right there, right here.
Oh shit! Fucking Google to the rescue, dude.
Like an 8-year-old lady just dropped
Look
some
at
like
this shit.
heavy heat talking shit to her.
Tells brave Ukrainian. Oh, this is great, guys. I gotta put this on the screen. You guys gotta see this shit. So, brave Ukrainian woman tells Russia soldier, "Put sunflower seeds in your pocket so they grow when you die." Oh, this is great. We gotta play this. This is gonna be lit.
It's so gangster.
This is fucking gangster as fuck. Okay,
I'm
let's
putting
get to the
headphones on for this.
goddamn.
I'm putting headphones on.
Let's get the fucking ad out of here. God damn, these guys got me again. You poor bastards. Dude, that's some fucking thug life shit, bro.
I know
that
we
is
walked
some
up to the
fucking-
soldiers and were like,
That is some thug life
"Carry
shit,
sunflower
dude.
seeds." So
So this lady,
Flowers grow from your corpse.
let's see this. Okay, let's check this out.
My business got
Oh,
robbed.
we're gonna get fucking. Hold on. I don't know
Yeah,
what the
that's a
fucking.
thing.
God
YouTube
damn
does
it.
that. There's
Holy
like two-
shit! Video where we're zooming 190 seconds. What?
No,
the
no, go down. There should be like a skip
What
in
the
5
fuck?
seconds.
No way. No man, they got me good. Damn, these guys got me good.
Skip.
100 and
Oh, it's the
fucking.
independent. That's why.
It's independent. That's why they're gonna let you do it. But dude, that's some badass shit, bro. That's like the most. That's fucking sick. This lady didn't give a fuck. She's like, all right, listen, you're gonna get fucking murked, bro.
Yeah, you're
it's
getting
gonna
murdered.
make sure you put some sunflowers.
Buy me some fertilizer for these flowers.
Oh, it's fucking gangsters. Fuck, I'm not gonna wait, man. That's just not.
So there are two things.
Where did this? When did that?
You
even
say
happen? When did that happen?
Slava.
A week ago. Jesus
you
Christ.
Say Slava Ukraini, which means glory to Ukraine. Or
That's
you
fucking
say,
crazy, bro.
Or you say fuck you, Russian warship.
Crazy. Look at this shit. Ukrainian women confronted heavily armed Russian soldiers in Henshik. Henshik? Is that how you say it? Henshik?
Hanishek?
Henshik? Whatever, man. We don't speak it.
I don't know either.
Footage shows her asking two troopers, "What the fuck are you doing in our land?" Woman whose identity is not known was hailed for her courage on Twitter. Protesters in Moscow voiced support for Ukraine and chanted, "There is no war." Wow, look at this shit. This woman is fucking
There you
beast
go.
mode. Look at this motherfucker. Here we go.
Oh, no subtitles. Cause it's in Russian.
Oh, you're right. How the fuck do I do that? I don't even know how to do that.
There's no subtitles. Oh wait, can you do subtitles for
I
you?
don't know if I can, man.
Or you can go to a different video, not on the independent.
But she's gangster as fuck. It's in a different language. Who gives a fuck?
and there's
but-
subtitles for
But
it.
that shit is so fucking hard, bro. That shit is hard as fuck. She deserves an award for that. That's fucking gangster as fuck.
Yeah.
Good for her. Good for her. Like, I mean,
I could not
there's-
thought
there's-
something
listen.
that gangster in my entire
bro,
life.
it's like, you know, watch fucking. I always watch like Red Dawn. You know,
Ooh, yeah. The
did
new
you watch
one?
the remake?
I like the new one. I like
where
the
he's
new one.
like, where the dad's like, listen, you know, this is a hard situation. He's like, but I want you to kill every last one of these motherfuckers, you know, and fuck, you know. And then there's a part of me where he was like everyone knows that like that's not what you want to see. Like that's not like, you don't want to do that because you want to watch your kids grow up and you gotta save yourself. But he's like, fuck that. We're all gonna like if we're at war, dude. Like we're all gonna die now. Like
We're either gonna be subjected to slavery of some form, or we're gonna die fighting.
right. That's just the way it goes.
Mm.
There you go. But at the end of the day, it's an old lady talking to some guys, but still, that's hard as fuck. It's still pretty hard, dude.
That's what
She's-
old lady thing
she's
to
a
say is
gangster.
like, I like
She's a
flowers,
gangster.
and when you die,
She's a gangster.
grow me some flowers.
She's a gangster. Should we do another shot, man?
Mm-hmm.
Another shot time.
It's
Shot
what-
time.
It's what hurts, dulls the pain of my gums.
Dulls the pain.
By the way, I can already tell my teeth are already straighter. My two front teeth, I can't tell the difference between them because they're already so straight.
It's been 2 days, Kyle.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
and my my crossbite
They're just cranking
is
down on those
already
motherfuckers.
bigger. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Always had this idea of like what was wear braces is like some dude you sit down and they fucking just like ratchet it down a little bit more every fucking week. Like, yeah. You're like, oh, that's my whole idea was. And then like I actually looked it up and I was like, that doesn't seem that bad. And then obviously someone I knew who had braces was like, dude, if you've never had braces before and like he's like, yeah, it's a lifestyle because sometimes you have to like you acclimate to it. If you
I have a whole routine for my teeth now.
Yeah,
That's a lifestyle.
yeah, before you could be like, fuck off. I'm just gonna, go home and drink some beers and go to bed and wake up next morning and brush my teeth. Then you can't do that now. Now you got to make sure because the next day they're gonna be fucked up if you don't do it.
Yeah, food gets trapped more, so you have to make sure your gums are clean.
Cheers, man. Let's drink, and drunk. Dude,
Oh, God, it's been years since I heard that
to
one.
Ukraine and that old lady.
Slava Rukani.
To Slava, is that her name? Slava Rukani?
Slava Ukraini,
Slava Ukraini?
which is glory to Ukraine.
Glory to
Glory
Ukraine.
to Ukraine.
Okay, well, all right. And America, for that matter.
Hopefully, Biden fucking decides, hey, I want to get involved. And
Well,
stop
I don't
fucking
know.
just watching this.
It's
And
here's
bring
the
our
thing.
fucking
It's
Air
a
Force
delicate
in.
situation. We can't sit here and sit there. We can't sit here and say we know what's going to happen, and we can't sit here and say we have the answer too. That's the biggest thing. Like
I agree.
we
I
have
agree.
to approach this in the right format, in the right way, and there's no. I'm not qualified to even start in that situation or even answer that question because I don't even know what we should do. Now, there's a lot of political things that go with this, and there's a lot of shit that's going to change. But at the end of the day, you know, when they make that decision and it happens, it's going to happen, and it's going to be, you know, it's going to,
Serious.
yeah, it's. I
If-
mean,
if we
World
were-
War III. If we get involved with this shit, it's World War III.
If we were willing to get involved,
That's just it. It's just how it goes.
we could save Ukraine just by having our Air Force there.
Yeah, but that's
Because they're willing to fight everything
it's
else.
not
They
just
have
that.
it. If we can have our Air Force, we would win.
But my point though to that is not just that. It's if we get involved, it's going to create. It's a domino effect, right?
Yeah.
So you have one side of it going on, and then another side going on, and then one of the guys it's a basically your boys want to duke it out. These two homies, you know, or these guys who have problems outside the bar, they
Yeah.
want to duke it out. But you're cool with one of the homies because you're trying to help him out. You gave him some lessons, showed him how to grapple a little bit, try to get his, you know, he's your boy. So you spend some time with him before, and then the dude calls him out at the bar. He's like, fuck it, let's go outside and brawl. So they start fighting. They're fighting for turf, whatever, right? And then you happen to be like, fuck this guy. I'm going to jump in, and I'm gonna give a boost, or I'm going to kick him in the... Next thing you know, you got motherfuckers jumping out of nowhere, and they're helping them out. And it's this domino effect. Everybody starts getting involved. So if we were to... And this is probably a horrible way to explain this, but if we do that, if we get involved, it's going to make other people get involved. And the last thing we want is we don't want to have a full-fledged crisis on our hands or a full-fledged war over something small. I mean, I hate to say this is small, but it's Russia invading Ukraine. Okay, it's not.
It's
not.
like our hands are
It's
almost
not.
forced,
It's not
but
fucking
that
China
is
and
always the
it's not like
option.
fucking China trying to fucking take on the U.S. or it's not like, you know, them invading. It's not. It's not.
It's not Pearl Harbor. It's not 9/11.
It's not,
It's-
but it can. The thing is that if we let it get out of hand, it could potentially be something of that nature. Remember, Pearl Harbor was devastating, right? It was a horrible thing that happened, but it was kind of and you know, a blessing in disguise, so to speak. And I don't mean to say that it was good that it happened to us, because it wasn't. It was bad. We lost a lot of people, and a lot of people died.
We lost a lot of ships,
But
a lot of
and it
people.
was extremely tragic. But we intercepted messages of it potentially happening multiple times. We had prior inside knowledge that these guys were plotting to do
Really? I
that.
didn't know that.
We had a lot of information. There was a Japanese sub that was tracked in that area weeks prior, or if not the week of. There was guys calling back to Japan, telling them of the weather patterns. There was things that were going on that
Oh,
we
Jesus,
we didn't pay attention to, because we didn't think that Japan would do that.
They had
because-
that much balls.
but they did what they had to do for their reasons, right? We were cutting them off their oil. We weren't going to give them any more resources, and they had to make an act. They had to do something.
They made a pact with Germany.
So
They
my
were
point though
gonna
is that
follow
we,
through with it.
well, regardless, like they had to do what they had to do. When I did my little research on like what happened with Pearl Harbor, it's actually better. We didn't realize at that point in time that how important air superiority was. Okay, we thought that having carriers, and we thought that
we had
having
a ton of destroyers.
we had a ton of stuff. We thought that having a naval fleet made us stronger, so to speak, right? Well, turns out like when they rolled the tape back, and I remember watching this documentary about it, and I can't name it off the top of my head because it's been years since I've seen it. That if we were notified of it actually happening, and we went out to sea to fight this same thing, that it would have ended up a little bit different, and that we could have actually lost more, rather than just what we lost. We could have lost a lot more lives, and that's just because we didn't understand what, the Battle of Midway was kind of like that determining moment in our history where we realized like how important it is that we have air superiority. But at the same time, there are reasons like you think about like how things happen and go like, oh shit, that's terrible that it happened, but it's important that it happened because otherwise we wouldn't have what we have today.
I'm very curious about that documentary because what you're saying is that Douglas MacArthur, the admiral that did the Japan fight, you're saying that like he would have fucked up, and it's like that guy is terrifying. And
I'm not saying he fucked.
General George Patterson is like there's only two things that terrify me: General George Patterson and honey badgers.
Why honey badgers? Out of all the things, okay, I don't even want to know. This is like it's
Oh,
TMI.
No. We're going on a rant now. We're going on a honey badger fact.
Okay.
We're going on a honey badger rant on why they are the most terrifying land animal to ever exist, and the second most terrifying animal to exist ever. It's either sharks and honey badgers. So honey badgers are the biggest they get is 80 pounds, right? They eat honey. Bees will sting them everywhere and sting them in their eyes, and they don't give a fuck, and they'll eat honey. They will go into a cobra's den, and they will eat cobras and their eggs, and the cobra will bite them, and they get the venom in them. They'll pass out for a couple hours, wake up, kill the cobra, eat the cobra. They're inoculated to venom. They, as a small honey badger, will eat scorpions and get inoculated from venom by getting stung by scorpions and eating them. That's how their life cycle works. When they see lions, they don't like lions. They will fight them. A 400, 500-pound lion, they'll be like, oh, hey, by the way, I see you. Fuck you. I want to fight you.
I think I've seen a video of this.
And by the way,
think I've
honey
seen this
badgers
shit.
can kill lions just by attrition alone. They are so vicious, so angry,
Isn't that weird?
so
though,
full of rage.
How the animal kingdom works. It's not necessarily about like the size. It's about posturing and like how animals interpret one another. Like you just because you're a lion and he's a fucking honey badger, and there's a 300-pound difference, that it's not necessarily about size, but about posturing and like what they're doing.
There's a little more to it.
Like I've seen videos
of
I've seen
two
videos.
honey badgers, two mates.
Fucking
They took a pride of lions
It's,
on.
I've probably seen what you're talking about.
It was like 6
feel like I have.
lions. And the lions didn't know what the fuck to do because the honey badgers like, ah. And they don't get tired. Honey badgers do not get tired for some reason. They can constantly fight and tire out a lion and kill a lion just from being tired, and multiple lions. Mm-hmm. A lion can bite a honey badger, and a honey badger can turn 180 within its own skin and bite the lion back on its own face when it's in a lion's grasp. I've seen videos of honey badgers seeing lions get a kill, and honey badgers walk up and like, oh, you mean my kill? Fuck you. I'm going to fight you. I'm going to take this kill. This is my food now. There is a very good video of a haven of animals where this dude had a lion in a cage and a enclosure, not a total enclosure, but a like concrete wall like 4 or 5 feet high. And he had a honey badger in there. So the honey badger kept trying to escape to go fight that lion. So at first there were rocks in the enclosure. The honey badger dug up the rocks, put them in the corner of the enclosure to climb out of the enclosure, got into the lion pen, fought the lion, fucked the lion up, which is like 4 times its own body weight. The keeper broke it up, took the rocks out, and then when it rained, the honey badger made mud balls out of the rain. Got out of the enclosure, fought the lion again. So then he decided to get a mate to keep it distracted. So he got a female honey badger. Well, then eventually left a fucking broom in the enclosure, and it climbed out of the enclosure and tried to fight the lion again.
Fuck that, dude. It's just
So this entire like badger existence is there's a fucking lion. I'm gonna go kill
what are they
it.
bred with? Like
Something
what are they?
5 times bigger than me.
Do we even know? Like
fuck that. I'm gonna go
where
kill that.
they started with? Do they have like velociraptors in them? Like in their?
I don't know, but whatever it is, it terrifies me. And honey badgers are cool with humans. They don't see us as food. But I'm like, I don't ever want to go into combat with a honey badger because like I'm not gonna win. That thing would fucking kill everything in its path. By the way, Wolverine for Marvel is based off a honey badger. But honey badger, isn't really a good name, so I named it Wolverine, which is a really good name. But his entire character is based off a honey badger because they heal from venom, they heal quick, they are absolutely go in a berserk mode when they go into combat, which is what Wolverine does. Yeah, so for one honey badger to see a pride of lions, I'm like, yo, fuck them, I'm gonna go fight them all.
That's weird.
It's
got to be some
as a
kind
human
of
being who has
territorial
hands,
thing.
they
There's
can fight.
got to be more variables to it than just they want to go fucking start shit with random people. I mean, there are animals in the kingdom that do some crazy ass shit.
They
like
know
that.
they can take on a lion, and they fucking do
I
it.
don't think it's about knowing. I mean, maybe it is about knowing. Maybe it's like they wake up and they're just like, I have my Wheaties, I'm gonna go fuck somebody up.
I mean, it's some like kind of crazy testosterone.
Who knows? I mean,
gotta
there's a
kill
small
lions.
animal that could create more testosterone
They're
than
cool
most.
with humans.
You know,
Like the
maybe.
zookeeper is like totally cool being around it, and it was like just sniffing around, and you're just feeding it.
Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Honey badgers.
But the lion was like, you're my enemy, and it's like to think that lion's the king of the jungle and told me it's a honey badger,
She said honey badgers and what was the other area scared of?
sharks,
Sharks.
because water, and they have.
How do we get on the honey
superiority.
badger talk now? I'm like completely lost now.
The two things I'm afraid of: General George Patterson.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Okay.
Because that
was
so
like, what the
to
fuck
get to
are we
that
talking
guy,
about
the
right
reason why
now?
I'm terrified of that guy. That dude. Okay, so you know how Bane and he's like, I was like, you just adopted darkness. I was born of it.
The darkness. You adopted the dog. I was born in this.
General George Patterson was born of war.
Oh,
He
man.
fully understood it. He was ruthless. He understood his men, and he beat the Nazis with impunity easily. Because like originally the Nazis were in Africa. They actually started conquering part of Africa.
Well, because
he
they
came
needed
in.
the resources and
He
they.
defeated Africa. I don't know, a ton of resources. They were just trying to conquer everything. He came in and defeated the Nazis in there,
Well, this,
helped D-Day, and just pushed everything back. And it's like, the dude just smoked cigars and was of like 5'5" stature, but was just made of fucking titanium. Like, if we didn't have him as a general, things would have been different in World War II. But
Well,
we stomped the
I
Germans.
mean, there's the
in World
reasons
War
why
II.
we have specific people enroll for certain jobs,
Yeah.
and there's
And-
something about.
And he was the Jesus Christ of fucking generals. That guy is. The more you learn about him, the more terrifying he is and how good he is. The more I learn, the more terrified of that guy.
You know, and he was, and here's a scary, here's even cooler thing. And I shouldn't say cooler, but he specifically he was made or chosen for that specific thing. Like that was his specific job. You know,
And
he was the
did
one
it.
who they needed at that time.
Mhm.
You know, you couldn't possibly have someone like that now, or possibly even have someone in the future. It was specific to that time and what we needed.
Mhm.
I know I know a lot of times we forget as a culture, we like you know we have this vision of like, oh, you know, we got to be polite, like not polite. We got to be, when you're being taught something, or you have a mission, or you have something you have to go do, you know, and you fail. Like it's always go, oh no, you'll be okay tomorrow. You'll try again tomorrow. No, it's like, no, you fucked up. Like do it better, or I'll find someone else who can.
Oh yeah, that's
You know,
definitely California
the hard, like,
culture.
hey,
Other
man.
part of the country aren't like that, but California definitely.
And like, you know, there's been times where like when I grew up, dude, like if you sucked at something, they told you sucked, and then you got fucking third place, or if you didn't place at all, you just sucked.
Yeah.
You know, if you didn't win the championship, you don't get a fucking trophy. You know, you don't get shit. You just, you know what you do? You go back to the fucking
participation trophies.
you go
No,
to, you
not in
to the
California.
fucking grindstone.
You're
You go
told to
back
fuck
to what
off.
you're doing. You figure it out and do better, and that's how you get better, right? You don't get told, "Oh, you're doing all right. You'll be fine." No. You missed the docket. Like it didn't go well. Like figure out like what you did wrong and then correct
Fucked
it.
up. Don't do it again.
Right. If you got beat by a team in a sporting event, you had to go back to the drawing
Bro,
board and figure out.
we
what you
can
did
take
wrong.
it to as adults for work.
But I mean, what if we?
If you didn't hit your marks at work, your boss is like, "Hey, man,
Yeah.
this is an issue.
It's changed now.
Like you need to do X, Y, and Z. Don't do it again." And you're like, "Absolutely, sir. I agree. I will do X, Y, and Z, and I will hit that mark. Otherwise, you get fired."
you know,
And that's how competitive California is.
I mean, and not only it's just the culture is just, there's so much, you know, the social media thing obviously gives the people who rarely ever had voices now. So it's like you hear a lot of naysayers
Dumb
and stuff.
shit.
And that could be subjective in many ways, you know, people, and that's just not just saying that us sitting here isn't a form of that, because it could be interpreted that way as well. So having that mindset of going, okay, you know what, you know, it's okay to have an opinion. It's okay to have a feeling about something that is political or social or anything for that matter.
Everyone should be political. So yeah, everyone should have an opinion.
But at the same time, we should all be appreciative of the fact that we get to voice that opinion.
Yeah.
Because in other countries, you don't have that option.
Absolutely
you know?
not. You're right.
You don't have the opportunity to express yourself and say what you want to say because you're restricted by your government. You're restricted by a lot of things. And we're very fortunate to have the ability of free speech to be able to say what we want and not have any ramifications or repercussions for it. And I think sometimes we lose sight of that in every aspect of our lives. You know, if someone says something we don't like, we feel like we need to tell them that I don't like that. Well, it's okay to do that. You can say that I don't appreciate
goddamn
that.
right. I'm gonna tell you.
If you don't like what someone said, say it. But it doesn't necessarily give you the right to tell them to stop. You know, it just means I don't agree with that person. I don't associate with that person. But I'm not gonna. And I don't condone that behavior. But I'm not gonna engage in it and make it a part of my life. You know, I'm just gonna that's their opinion. Let them live their life. You know, unless you're impeding on my world, or you're coming at me crazy, or you're trying to impact my life, then at that point, you know, it's a different discussion. But at the same time, you know, a lot of times we get to this point where we want to shut somebody up because they're saying crazy shit, and it's like, well, no, like let them. I mean, people are going to have their opinion. People are going to have their place in the world. I mean, do I agree with like a lot of the crazy? You know, there's a lot of crazy shit out there. Do I agree with everything?
I mean,
no.
This stuff that's making the news, though, what they're saying is absolutely crazy and should be shut up. People say a lot of crazy shit and we get away with it, but the stuff that makes the news is really bad.
Kyle, that's the beauty of it. You can't honestly sit here like, and that's where we have to at some point draw the line and say, you know, it's more than just saying they really should be shut up, and that's that mentality. That's the mentality I'm talking about. Well, they should be shut up because they're dumb. No. From a personal perspective, yeah, I'm going to have my own personal opinion on something. Go ahead. If these guys are saying dumb shit, I'm going to say they're saying dumb shit. But telling them to just, you know, shut up. Like, there's sometimes where I get, you know, where like I'll go, man, these guys are what are they even saying? This makes no sense. Or we're doing this whole thing of it's fine to have your opinions, or it's fine to have your points of view on some shit. But sometimes there's times where you're like, what the fuck are you saying, and why?
So.
Like, why are you saying
there are
certain
levels
things?
to this, and that's the best way to like try and explain
but
it.
you got to be.
There's their opinions, and then there's opinions that were it's like Nazi opinions. So, like, if you were to have a Nazi opinion, do you think you should have a complete right to like express all that all the time?
Do you follow Chowder, Louder with Chowder? Do you follow that guy?
I see that guy a lot, and I followed him a little bit, but that guy is super fucked up.
He did this thing.
He's super racist,
and I'm sure. I listen. I follow a lot of his stuff, and I listen to a lot of stuff, and he has a lot of valid points in a lot of his arguments because he states facts and bases his information on facts. But what I saw him do is he did a piece about the polite racist, and it's him it's like a skit. Right, it's a skit. It's, you know, it's
interesting. I haven't seen that.
And it's him having dinner with, you know, he's with his girlfriend and his friend and his wife, and his friend it's called the polite racist, and it's funny, like, because it's funny. I think it's funny because the guy is saying like, oh, he's saying they're having dinner, and the guy's like, oh, I don't like this guy, and I think he's, you know, this and that, and I don't like him because he's black. That's what he says in the video, and like at first, you know. He says that, and I'm like, what is, like, I'm watching the video, and it's like the polite racist. I'm like, what is this? And he's literally like, yeah, but he's being completely polite about his state of, like, how he feels. Mm-hmm. And the guy who's the Louder with Chowder guy, whatever his name is, I don't even know his name. That's how fucking how much I pay attention. Is like, wait, did you just, like, you don't like him just based on his race? He's like, yeah. But he says it so calmly, and he's like, so you started a new business? I want to hear about it. And the guy's like, well, hold on, wait. He's like, let's talk about this. Like, wait, you don't? He's like, yeah, I've always been that way. I don't know why you guys didn't know that right away, you know? But, you know, and his wife will be like, oh, and like there's this whole scene that breaks out, and like, is it right? Obviously that's not a cool thing. It's not like a socially. I mean, you can feel the way you want to feel, but like he did this whole skit about it, about how we interpret certain things and how we see it, and it's meant to be a joke, right? It's meant to be like
it's supposed to be like a skit.
It's meant to be a skit joke,
I get
whatever.
that.
And people can turn it around and make it sound whatever they want to make it sound like. But at the end of the day, it's like it's an eye-opening thing where is it okay to be certain things? No, like you don't have to. I think it's wrong. Being racist is not a good thing. Like I think it's terrible, you know. Looking down on someone just because of the color of their skin is terrible. Like that's not okay. We're all equal under God. That's just the way it goes. And that's how I feel. Like we're all equal, under God. This is the way it goes. But at the same time, you know, when you think about if you believe something, you believe it. That's it. Do I have to agree with it? Fuck no. I don't have to agree with shit. Like that's just the way you believe. Am I gonna condone that kind of behavior if I see it? Absolutely not. But am I going to
There's
sit there?
levels to these opinions.
But am I going to sit there and waste my energy saying negative things about somebody I don't even fucking know? You know, am I going to have my opinion? Sure, I'll have my opinion, but I'm not going to waste my energy on that.
That's what I'm saying. There's levels. Like if you want to be racist,
my
that's
point
one
was-
level. But if you were a Nazi,
Yeah.
that's where
My
a level
point-
where I'm like, all right,
my-
so I'm gonna get out of my home and like if there, let's say there were Nazis protesting in Vacaville,
Mm-hmm.
I would show up and fight every single one of them. Even if I
but-
died doing it, I would do it.
But I think you're
But
you're
that's
taking it to an
on the
extreme, though.
super extreme. The
It's
super
very extreme. Like I think
yeah.
I think that's
That's
completely.
what I'm saying. There's levels.
So
There's
why would
extremes,
you-
and then there's opinions, and then there's just.
So why
like-
would you want to even engage in that?
Because
I mean, they have the right to express
those
themselves,
opinions
right?
are so
Do they-
extreme.
Do they have the right to
they're
express
evil.
themselves though? Don't they have the right to have free speech and express themselves based on our constitution? I mean,
Yes.
they can express themselves, right? So
So it's not illegal.
What's
they
the
don't
difference?
they don't get arrested for
So
having
what's-
those opinions.
Okay, and you have your right to have your feelings about the
Yes.
situation and deal with them the way you want to under the by obeying the law and
Yeah.
whatnot, right?
But those opinions are so extreme that I'm like, this is not okay in my community. It's not okay ever. They should not feel safe being in public, and it's so evil. It needs to be tackled. And the problem is, when you get that far to evil, you can't conquer it by like love or understanding. You only conquer it by extreme violence.
No,
So if
that's-
there
I
were
disagree.
Nazis, you
I
need
disagree.
to show up and you need to fight them. Like not kill. I'm not saying
That's
kill
not-
them because they're not killing people in this
You
scenario.
don't-
You just fist
Yeah, but
fight
hate
them
doesn't-
and show them. Yeah, see the thing though is there's been a bunch about this about what tolerance is. You can tolerate a lot of things, but total toleration would be consumed by fascism and by Nazism. You can't have absolute tolerism because at a certain point things get so bad that the only way to handle it is through violence. The only way to fight fire with fire. The only way to fight evil.
I know the
with
saying.
evil.
I know the saying they have for if you want peace, prepare for war. That
Yeah.
saying, I get that.
Yeah.
But I think
It's somewhat.
you don't want to fight hate with hate. I can understand the frustrations and the pain you might or the
No, but see, that's the thing though. That's the only way to do
but
that.
fight but
That's
I
the
don't
only way
agree.
to
I don't
handle
agree
that.
with you when you I don't agree with the fact that you should physically hurt somebody for having having an opinion. You know, because you can easily talk to people about what they're going or what they how they feel. You can easily talk to somebody. I was watching on the fucking JRE this guy who was a black man who talked to white supremacist guys,
Yeah, I know who you're talking
you
about.
know, and turned their lives around, but they're just talking to him and just being,
Because they've never met a black guy before.
never met somebody like that,
Never
and
met,
that's
yeah.
and that's just all because of ignorance and then lack of understanding. So like when you think about like this, if this, you know, how you explain that, like talking to people is half the battle, and like and communicating with people is half the battle. Like if you're not able to communicate with somebody, you're never going to get anywhere. So like
So that guy doing that,
I'm
though,
just saying,
I'm not black, so I can't make them see a black point of view. So if I were to talk to him, that's
well,
not
it's
that's not an
just-
option for
just,
me.
Not just you know, like it's,
But you can't fight pure evil. Because by the way, if you were a Nazi and you're like, like everyone who's not this type of white is below me, and then to be subjugated below me. And then the evil shit they would do and they're willing to do because they feel morally justified by doing it, which this is a broad statement I'm saying right now, but like when you get into exact details of everything that they've done that are willing to do, it's pure evil.
and
You can't beat that by being kind and polite and like trying to reason with them. Only extreme violence works with that. So that's what I'm saying. Like if Nazis show up in Vacaville, I would fight them. Physically. I wouldn't try and kill them. I just let them know that their opinion's not okay and it's not respected here.
Okay, well, I think you may have gotten. I think you may need to rethink that theory because one, you live in a
Half Republican town.
No, but it's not even about the town. It's not even about that. You live in a society where you have to you can't just assault somebody. And it's
Oh no,
okay.
I'd go to jail, but
Like
I would morally
you
be doing the
can't
right
do
thing.
certain things for
Yeah.
a reason.
No, I would go to jail for it
And
because it'd be
saying
assault.
that you're gonna,
but I'd be okay with that, and I would die happy with that because morals are damn near absolute.
Yeah, I think
And morally, I'd be doing the correct, justified thing.
I understand.
But by law, I just assaulted some people, and
Yeah.
I'd get
Well,
that. That'd be fine.
I want to sit there and say, like,
People
oh yeah,
get arrested for protesting for
I know.
for great things.
You don't want to fight hate with hate, man. That's how you're gonna start a fucking.
So I'm trying to explain
Start
to
a
you,
fire.
you can't solve hate with love. When you're trying to solve something that's pure hate and trying to give it understanding and reasoning, they're
all right.
already they're already without.
I just
reasoning.
disagree.
You
That's
have
all.
to.
I can. I'll.
can't do
I
that.
have to disagree with you, but that's just my own opinion. I can respect where you come from, but I don't agree with it.
Oh, that's fine. But there's a ton of books and reading material I can give you where you understand that like people have tried it, it doesn't work, and the only way to do it is through extreme violence, which sucks. I agree, it sucks. It's not. I would love to have just be able to reason with someone, but like, hey, look, your opinion's wrong for X, Y, and Z, and we've grown as people for this conversation. But in reality, that's not how it works. And this isn't a new problem. This problem's been since the beginning of humanity. We've all. If we were to go to certain countries, they'd be racist as fuck towards us. Unless we go to China and we're rich, they will hate the fuck out of us. I've seen videos of people going to Japan and being denied to go into certain bars because we're white and they would want us to try and possibly fuck their women.
I mean,
Japan of all places, and especially China. There are places where they're extremely racist just to white people.
they just hate you
Be
because
black and go anywhere in the world. Even in Africa, if you're from America and you go to Africa, you think you're gonna be treated great? No.
I think you're going on a tangent here a little bit, but at the end of the day, my whole point is that
It exists.
you're
everywhere.
gonna
It's human nature.
have different opinions, and you're gonna have
Yeah.
different states of mind, and you're gonna have different ideas and ideologies and that kind of stuff. When that happens, yes, it's okay to have your opinion on it. So that's the glory. That's the greatness of America. You can have your own ideas and your own opinions. You can say what you feel. Okay.
And I love that
Are
about
people
America.
are people going to disagree with you? Yeah, probably. Most. I mean, a lot of times, yeah.
half time, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to disagree, but you have the opportunity to express yourself and be who you want to be.
That's
Now,
not every country, and I agree. And you're
we
right.
have those good,
Yep.
and I'm not sitting here trying to say that other countries don't do that or may or may not do that.
So I'm talking about that. I'm only talking about the
There are going to be
extremes,
extreme
the
situations where things
extremes.
happen.
Other than
you
that,
know.
then I'm fine.
But dropping situations that we don't necessarily know, or it's not 100% factual. We just want to make sure. I guess in a way, you just want to make sure that you cover your bases with the most facts, because at the end of the day, you don't want.
Yeah, that's fair.
You don't want to promote something that you don't necessarily know. It's important to know that, and
Be
I think
well informed.
I think at the end of the day, you having an opinion is one thing, and stating your opinion is one, but being able to provide factual,
Yep.
information
I agree.
at any point in time it's more important than just saying, okay, well, these guys are racist towards whites, and it's like, well, that's I call it like a blank, like it's just a statement.
It's a blank statement. No, you're correct. It's a blank statement.
So
But,
just keeping that.
it's even though it's a blanket statement, and you're almost throwing it back in my face, but it's still a true thing. Racism isn't an American thing. It's a
everywhere.
human thing.
It's going
everywhere.
on. It happens. It
You
happens.
go anywhere, and
There's a reason why there's a word for it. It's happened.
Yeah.
It's happened in the past. It's probably happening around the world. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, we have a lot of good things here. We have a lot of bad things here. We deal with.
But we're the melting pot, and we're doing pretty good compared to the rest of the world.
Pretty decent amongst the world. I mean, we have our issues, obviously, but at the same time, with everything going down the way that it's going down now, with what Russia's going through and in Ukraine, it's always tough. It's gonna be tough to deal with. But You know, you gotta have your honey badgers, and you gotta have your sharks, and you gotta have, and this is the thing, like you gotta have. What does the saying goes? It goes, you can't enjoy a sunny day without a few rainy days. You know, you're gonna have the naysayers and the ones who say a lot of the stuff that are gonna throw you off the rails, right? You're gonna have those individuals who want to have crazy rallies and get you riled up, but at the end of the day, you know, you got to remember, like, what you're doing, does it impact you, and is it worth it? Do you want to waste the energy, and do you want to waste that time on it? You know, because and this is just me. This is not me trying to say whatever, but I think it's wasted. You waste a lot of energy on fucking dumb shit like that, and rather than just focusing on what we should be doing better, you know, or doing better for yourself for the most part. What's the saying? How do you can't change the world you live in? You can change, but you can change yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I think that's like,
you have control.
Stop trying to change the world and just change yourself and watch the world change, because your perspective changes, your ideas, what you do changes, and that in turn has an effect. While it may seem like a small effect, it has an effect. It does. In the long term, it will have an effect. And while it and when it does happen, you're not necessarily gonna notice it right away, but it's going to make an impact somewhere. Whether it's a small little tiny thing somewhere down the road, or it's a giant fucking leap for mankind. I mean, my God, we got Elon Musk behind us. I mean, at this point, he's making motherfucking rockets that can take off and land. Like, come on. Like, when the fuck have we ever been able to do shit like that?
I'm on.
I mean, he's got spaceships driving around the fucking world right now.
50-50 of like, this guy's doing some good shit, and I'm constantly hearing
if there's gonna be somebody who makes a fucking hoverboard, like a legit hoverboard, it's gonna be fucking him first. And if it's not him, I'm not buying one. If it's not a fucking, like, they're talking about having a Tesla phone, bro. Like, that shit would be lit as fuck.
You know why you started that, by the way?
Shit would be lit.
Because Apple's wanting to make an Apple car. And so Tesla's like, fuck
well,
that.
They already have. No. They already have, like, the Apple. They have.
Apple been trying to make a car. And
Google made one too. I think Google made one too.
Yeah, they've been trying to make one for a while, and Apple's been trying to do that. And Tesla's like, fuck that. I'll make a phone. Fuck you guys. And it's gonna have Starlink for it. Shit. And so it's like a year away from being launched.
Wow.
Even though Starlink isn't perfect yet, and there's a lot of issues with it.
I'm sure there
is.
It's
not.
You're always gonna have bugs, though.
Yeah, you're gonna have bugs.
This is the way it goes.
So to make Starlink eventually work from the very beginning, they need 3,400 satellites launched. And then to make it to be perfect would be like 30,000 satellites. Do you know how insane a number that is to be around the world? There'd be constantly a satellite you can see in space. And they're only like this big. Only that big.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. Well, shit, man. I know we've been at this for like almost an hour and a half, or 45 minutes now, man.
Oh, yeah, and we probably should cut the chatter and just do another one later on.
But I am glad that we got to sit down and chat, and it's always fun to talk to you, Kyle. You and I go way back. Welcome back to Mikasa, and
hopefully next time we have some debauchery stories instead of just political.
Well, there's a lot of political shit going on right now in this world,
This is
fortunately.
what we're stuck on.
So we're kind of stuck on that.
And
but I do appreciate your time, man. I do appreciate, and thanks to all you guys listening out there. You're listening to Derek and Friends podcast. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Let me know how you guys are doing. Appreciate you guys. Have a good night, guys. Thanks.